How's it going, everybody? Mike Gonzalez here, your real estate agent here in San Antonio, Texas. So we're going to look at another property today. And remember, why we're doing all this is to transfer my 20 years of real estate experience over to you guys to make you a smarter real estate buyer, whether it's for yourself, for your residence, or for investing. Look at some of the things I'm looking at and just open your mind. All right. So the one we're going to look at again in San Antonio area, it's actually up around the Dominion. And in fact, let's pull up the map right here. Where is it? Right in the Dominion area off I-10, kind of northwest of San Antonio. Taking I-10 out of here. It's right here in this area. It's a little gated golf community right here, the Dominion. So now the one we're looking at, it's a little bit special. And I'm going to point out some things to it. This is what the property looks like on the outside. All right, let's take a quick look at it. What do you think? So it's already pulling up to this driveway. You can already see it's going to be an interesting property. The stucco's already cracked. It just looks like it hasn't been maintained for a while. Just normal neglect, right? It probably looks like it has not been lived in for a while. Do you want to look at the inside? Looks like a little bit of water damage there, maybe on the wood floors. All right, so this is, remember the stage, the step down living room? What year do you think this is? I got to guess. What's your guess? My guess would be early 80s. Right around there is when they were really popular. A lot of damage there. There you go. So based on the pictures and the area that's at, what are you thinking? What do you think the price is? Needs a little bit of work, right? You can tell all that looks like it was done, I would say mid 80s, and it's probably most of it is original. Maybe they've had one update, but let's jump into the details so we can see. So here's a property. They're asking 241, and as you can see, it's pending. So we don't know when a property goes pending, it just means that there's a contract on it and they're in escrow. They're waiting to do the title work, to the loan docs. There is a loan on this one. On this one, I doubt it. They're probably paying cash just because of the issues that are there where the property is. But they're in escrow. They're doing their inspections. They're doing all that. So we don't know if it's going to close or when it's going to close. But right now, that's the status on it. So it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,966 square feet. It's on a half-acre lot, a little bit bigger than half an acre. There's the address, San Antonio. Keep in mind, all this is public information. So use the information to get an idea. HOA fees, $300 a month. It's been on realtor.com for 546 days. So it's been on the market for a while, over a year. Now, the thing is this, I would say, is I guarantee you that's not the price it's been on. They probably reduced it here recently. It's in the Dominion subdivision, blah, 4-bedroom. The bedrooms are by 14, 14 by 14, 12 by 13. The main, how big is the main? The primary bedroom, 15 by 14. So that's, see, it's not that much bigger than the other ones. Usually we'll see main bedrooms being 18 by 20 nowadays. 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Now, the interesting thing is, let's look at the pricing. It's just amazing. Now, I've said it before, Texas is a non-disclosed state, so you don't know what actually stuff's sold for. You have to be a realtor, have access to the local MLS, because that has the data for what stuff actually sells for. But we get a pretty idea of where stuff is pricing at. So let's start at the beginning on this one. Taxes. So this one's tax assessed value, 666. Not a good sign, but 666,171 in 2022. So the total taxes for the year is 16,000. But let's look. All right. So we're close. 1985 was when it was built. Remember how we said about the sunken living room? So it was built in 1985 and sold in 98. Then it sold in 2009. So somebody held it for about a decade. And it was listed in 2023. And it was first listed for, so I don't know, looking at the interior, do you think there was some update between 85 to 98? Maybe. Maybe they did a mid 2000 refresh. That tile looks very early 2000. So maybe. Yeah, so it was listed for $1 million. Didn't sell. In June of 2023, they dropped it from $1 million to 880. Then they dropped it to 748, and then 669. No takers. So no takers at $1 million, 8, 7, 6. Still no takers at 669. The listing was removed in July, and then in August it got relisted. I don't know if it was the same agent or a different agent, but they went in with a price of 241. It got listed. So let's look at the area just so you get a sense for what's going on around there. Our property is right here. And again, this is Zillow here, so showing everything is active. So we have multi-million dollar homes in the area, right? So we have 3 million here, 2 million that there, at least there's a market for that. 160, 180, I'm guessing that's a lot, or just a vacant lot. 1.3, 1.9, 1.8, 1.4, 2.8. And they're all built 80s, 90s, 2000s. But this is our here. So let's do a little closer look at what we have. Since this is a gated community, we don't have Google Streets, so we can't take a look at it here. But you can see this lot's decent size. We back up to a much bigger lot. This is kind of the, we want to have the smallest house or one of the smaller lots. You don't want to be the biggest house or the biggest lot in the area. So this looks good for someone who's going to go in there and put some money in and fix it. But maybe, or maybe they just love the area. They always wanted to be in there, and they see lots that are going pretty close for this. Like here, 380, this looks like a lot. Yeah, so it's a lot. It's a little bit bigger, 0.74. So what do you think? A vacant lot for 379,000, but it's already cleared, versus 240,000, but you have a house in it. So sometimes you think a house is good, but if the house is that far gone, you almost have to account the demo cost for the lot. If it's going to 40,000 to clear it, then you actually take that away from what you're willing to pay for it, because it's not a clear lot ready to go. But maybe someone's going to come in and they're just going to rehab this one. It's hard to tell by the photos of it, right? Because you always hear like, oh, the house has good bones. What that means is if the layout is still useful. Like the one thing that always drives me crazy is you'll see these 15, $20 million homes, and they're literally like these long, long homes. And they do it so that from the outside, it looks amazing. It looks very just grand. But the problem is when you go in there, when you go into homes, you realize, oh, you have to go from room to room to room, essentially, from one end of the house to the other end of the house. And even though on the outside it looks great, it's not very livable. So just things like that. If it's a functional layout, again, it's a pretty good size house. Unfortunately, I think it seems like it takes up most of the you probably won't have room for a pool the way it sits on the lot. Maybe not, because like here's a driveway, here's a garage. Yeah, maybe. So in residential development, typically whatever house you're going to build, you don't want the total price of the house. You don't want the lot to be more than about 25-30% of the total cost, right? So if homes there, once I get the home built, I'm going to be able to sell it for, $1 million. Well, the you can spend for that lot is going to be 250,000 and 300,000, right? Because then you have your construction costs, and that's kind of how you back into. You don't want your lot to be the significant. Again, you kind of cap out. So it's pretty much before, right? You have this triangle where you have price, location, and then the condition of the house. Usually you can pick two, and the third one gets decided for you. So in this case, the location's good, but the condition of the property is very rough. So automatically the price has to come down. As you can see here in the market, pricing as $1 million, there are just no takers. So there's nothing magical about it. You have to the price has to meet where the market's at. So for every given property, there's a certain number of buyers swimming around interested in that property at that price. So for this one, obviously nobody was interested in $1 million. Because they go into the house. The biggest thing about houses is it's the condition of the home, but it's also the fixtures. And that's a big challenge that we're seeing right now. Is a lot of times you're seeing homes that were amazing in the 80s, early 2000s. And the fixtures have not been changed. The reason people love new construction, because all the fixtures are new and they all work and they're all modern. That's a huge part of what you're paying. So I think, unfortunately, buyers are looking at that more than ever. Before, people just took it that it was the old fixtures from 20 years. Now, with the amount of new have in the area, especially in San Antonio, we have a lot of new construction builders. People are really demanding, the fixtures. They're not wanting in a ton of work, especially interest rates being the way they are. So there you go. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Is this whoever's going to buy? If you're the developer that's buying this, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about it. I'm just kind of curious. Is this going to be down for you and you're going to do new construction on it? Or are you just going to try to rehab the property that's already there? So if you're looking at buying or selling in the San Antonio area, reach out to me. Love talking to folks about buying or selling real estate. Again, my name was Mike. Look forward to seeing you next time.